So, let's talk about content. I was just minding my own business one day, just playing some Guilty Gear, probably being sad that I couldn't go to the first major event in the UK of 2022, and for some reason unknown to me, I decided to make the unfortunate mistake of browsing Smash Twitter. Ugh. What I happened to stumble across was a tweet by this gentleman stating his opinion about having a lack of motivation to make analytical content on his favourite Smashy game due to the fact that content like top players consume hot sauce and top player does a thing generally gets more views. I'm not about to become a drama channel, so don't worry about that. That's what Twitter's for. You can see with all these replies here. But this tweet does bring up something important that does live in my mind every so often. Is it really just the fact that low effort content does better on YouTube? Or is there something else at play which could be causing overall lower viewership on analytical content? Is this tweet fact or fiction? Let me tell you why I think most top players are awful at creating analytical content. It's a harsh statement to make, but it's one that I do believe to be true. Being both a content creator and consumer, it's hard to not notice that there are some major differences between the vast majority of analytical content for Smash that's done by both the top players compared to those that aren't. Fiction rightfully pointed out in his tweet about the type of video being made having an effect on viewership, and that is certainly true, there is no way getting around that. A lot of people often have YouTube videos on in the background as noise more than anything, and having something that you don't have to engage your brain with fully is always going to make better noise. But there's another important aspect of content creation that is rarely brought up. It's not only the type of content that you make, but how that content is made, how it's structured, and how much care is put into the viewing experience of the video. Last I checked, you can't just throw an entire potato in the deep fry and call the end product a quality plate of chippies. To make chips, you have to follow a process, the steps that need to be taken, and the more refined and the more care those steps are taking place, the better quality those sticks will turn out to be. It's a universal truth, and it applies to everyone in some way or another, regardless of how big your fanbase is. I'm practically a nobody, and my higher effort content always does better. It's why The Art of Cloud has many more views than a guide made by both MKLeo and Mewtwo King, who are some of the most prominent figures in the community. There's one word to describe why this is the case: digestibility. So, in terms of content, what is digestibility? To keep things light and breezy, it's two main things. It's the presentation and the structure, and trust me when I say that both are equally important. Presentation, as the name implies, is how the content of whatever you're making is presented to the viewer. This means the editing, the cuts and the skips, the transitions between each section, as well as any other editing tidbits that you use to keep people engaged. You don't need to be an expert level editor or anything to make effective use of this. I can't speak for everyone, but I use the absolute bare bones. I have cuts, I have text appear sometimes, and if I'm feeling really spicy, I'll sometimes animate a blur or do a bit of time framing. Presentation also applies to the audio side of things as well. Just a basic understanding of audio levels will do for most people. If you happen to sport a fancy mic or knowledge of EQ levels, then even better for you. Structure is how the video is formatted. That's pretty much it. I really can't say much more than that. Organising your thoughts so that you start with the basics and apply them into advanced concepts later on in a basic script is often more than enough if it's your voice that's driving the video. You want your video structure to look like this rather than like this. I mean, just look at some of these examples that I've picked out. Notice the level of care of attention that has been put into these. From the structure of the analysis, to how the video transitions between each section within the analysis, to the diagrams used and what's being displayed on screen, it's just pretty to look at. There's variety here, and because of that it's easy to stay engaged with this. The same for the vocal delivery too. Some of them are energetic and witty.
At low level are either spot dodging way too often or constantly grabbing when the opponent's able to spot dodge. If any of you have played Smash for at least 7 seconds, you've probably encountered a situation like this at some point.
Some of them are methodical with emphasis on knowledge.
Route and just sped up the move. I won't go too much into detail, but in my opinion, that's good enough. Down smash is basically an inferior forward smash, albeit double-sided. While it is
But did you notice the one key thing that all of these deliveries have? It's concise and to the point. None of these videos have any waffling occurring in them. It's as easy as visual variety to keep the viewer stimulated, concise vocal delivery to make it easy to understand, following a good structure on the topic. And that's honestly about 80% of it. The other 20% is the tools needed to do those, so we're talking things like editing software and quality ways of capturing audio and video. Just listen to my voice here. It's my most popular video by far, despite how low quality my commentary is, just because I took care in the 80% that truly matters when it comes to creating analytical content.
In this section of the guide, we're going to be going into all of Lucario's moves. This is going to include his normals, his aerials, his smash attacks, as well as his throws and his specials.
And for shorter videos, you can get away with having no vocal delivery whatsoever. Short videos with text explanations is practically a GTA cheat code. Standard Ace uploads frequent content, which is just bite-sized competitive tips for Halo Infinite, and it's a marvel. Each video is less than a minute long, and it tells you everything you need to know about something. Anyone watching this right now could make a channel and make minute-long videos that apply to everyone, like the Min-Min matchup is easier with edge guarding, or turn on tilt attack in Smash Ultimate daily, and they would find success. If you do this and it pops off, you must credit me. That way I can experience the hungry box pop off at least once in my life. Now that we've seen what quality looks like, let's go check out the analytical content that top players in the community are making. Alrighty, let's start with Isam here on Pikachu. I mean, it's exactly what I would expect. It appears to be all done in one take. Looks like live commentary, so probably lots of rambling with basically zero editing. As a theoretical Pikachu main, this makes me very sad. Ooh, nice little intro. Please let the rest of this be the same. It was done on Twitch, even worse to be honest. That's a proper fatality on my hopes of this being easy to follow. I did watch this while learning Diddy actually earlier last year, but you can see what I mean. Tweak starts off with talking about outer shield options and edge guarding rather than the core basics of Diddy Kong, all done on stream as well. I think it's only fair to show the good as well during my little browse of the YouTube sphere here. DankPods done solid with the Diddy guide, and I'll always say that this is probably the best Diddy guide out there. It's edited and structured. You can see there's love put into this. I'm just looking through the feed, but here you can see it's very edited. It's not just a Twitch stream highlight. The only complaint I might have is video length. Anything over 30 minutes long is too long in my personal opinion. You should be aiming for 30 minutes. So it's probably a case of waffles, but I'm not gonna judge. I'm just as guilty if I'm not in control either. Larry Lure Falco Guide. It's another stream again. Looks like zero editing again. If your editing software timeline looks like this instead of this, then you're not showing much care into the work you do. Oh god, I'm so horrible. Let's check out IDBW's melee stuff too. Shouldn't just be looking at Ultimate, you know, Smash is everything. No, Smash is just Ultimate and Melee. It's not everything. So this is just a stream. Let's check the other one. So is this? I mean, come on. About a third of the video here is literally just a single image. An actual flowchart would have been better. I think you're starting to get the point here. I could probably work my way through the PGR for Smash Ultimate and Melee at this point, but I don't think I need to. It wouldn't be wild for me to say that the majority of top players' analytical content is just the exact same thing as the ones that I've been looking through in the last 10 minutes-ish by here. Also, I should mention, I have nothing against the people I've highlighted here. I don't know them personally, and I imagine they're good people. I just wanted to highlight the differences. I'm certain that the videos I've browsed here have a ton of good knowledge. It's just the way that the knowledge is being transferred into my brain space which is the problem. I find stuff like this a chore to get through. It's like listening to a university lecture. And with that, you've reached the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching this far, really, I mean it. As I mentioned earlier on, I mean no offense to any of the players that I've shown towards the end here. There's just so much discourse on this currently on Twitter, and it is something I've been thinking about for a while. I've never really appreciated watching stream highlights, which are quote-unquote guides. I feel like a lot of other people probably feel the same way too. We all, you know, we're not expecting the best content, you know, we're not expecting movie grade, Marvel Cinematic Universe style of editing and skill. I'm certainly not that. Most people who are on YouTube aren't that. Most of us, you know, it's just a hobbyist thing for us, right? You know, it's just something that we do and enjoy and take part in our spare time. And at the end of the day, we're all mid-level players, if not lower. We don't have all the knowledge available. And, you know, obviously the top players are so much more knowledgeable in this game than we are. By far, it's not even a comparison. I would just like for the top players to dedicate more into the videos they're making if they're talking about analytical content. They're talking about how it's not doing well for them, and it's because they're just not putting the effort in. A lot of new players are just looking at what they're doing, making no sense of it, and clicking off immediately. I imagine, you know, that's happening all over the place, really. If you're not capable of making the content yourself, you know, that's completely fine. At the end of the day, you know, the top players are traveling around, competing in tournaments. A lot of them are streamers, you know. Streaming is not too easy, you know, it's a lot of hours dedicated towards that every day. And editing takes a long time, you know, it's not a skill that you could just pick up and do immediately. It takes ages to get anything done. Like, I'm not particularly good. This video by here took about 7 hours, 8 hours. And it's literally 10 minutes, and all it is just a few cuts more than anything else. If you're not able to make the content yourself, there's no shame in hiring an editor to make it presentable for you. If you give all the knowledge, then imagine the great resources that could be made for Smash and for the FGC and for sports, pretty much any type of media. Just imagine how good it could be. Fighting games are literally the most inaccessible genre of games out there, and it's mostly because the resources are so bad. A lot of people don't want to go on wikis to find combo strings. A lot of people want it to be much more easier to understand and digestible, and a lot of people fail to do that. If you are interested in the content that I'm making, please check out the rest of the channel. I mostly focus on Lucario and Faust from Guilty Gear Strive for the most part. I am trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, that way I can start making a little bit of money. It's not much, it'll probably be about half a Freddo every month, but you know, if that's a free Freddo bar every 2 months, I'm not going to complain. But no, seriously, thank you for watching, and the next video I'll make will be a bit more resourceful again. I'm going to try and The sort of schedule I'm on currently is one serious sort of resource video and then something a little bit more on the side. This was just out of nowhere because it kind of riled me up. But yes, thank you again.